my god! Okay, it's happening! Stay calm! Everybody just calm down!
A week has passed since the first teaser for 3.26, and last night we received another journal entry, another teaser for Path of Exile 1's 3.26 expansion, the first proper update in almost a year, and this teaser is much more juicy than the first one. There's way more information packed into this one, so let's jump right into it, beginning on the left side of this image, obscured by the darkness. Now in the last teaser, this left portion was just jumbled nonsense, it didn't seem to make any sense, but in this teaser, they've just come straight out with it. They're not playing around anymore. Expansion name reveal this week. Now, if we're to take past timelines into account for league reveals, what this would usually mean is that the name reveal for the expansion will be on Thursday, the 22nd of May, and that name reveal will also give us the dates for both the full livestream reveal and the league launch itself, which should be June 5th for the reveal livestream and June 13th for the league launch. That's usually how they operate. It's normally the name reveal exactly 2 weeks before the full livestream, and then 8 days following that is the full launch. So right now I'm expecting a June 13th launch for Path of Exile 3.26. Okay, so that's some of the hidden info there on the left. There's also one other thing there at the bottom, the word Navis, which is Latin for ship or, vessel or boat. And I've got to say that I think this is just a complete troll. GGG love doing this. It's the running gag. They do it every league, and I have absolutely no expectation that this league is going to have anything to do with boats. Okay, now let's get into the main teaser. So this is another journal entry. This time the context on Reddit for the title of this post is Journal Entry Threads. So this reads, Threads, impressions, realities woven from memory, and yet not quite right. Each one feels designed, but distorted. Is this how the originator hides their work? Or is it coming undone? Whatever the reason, I won't stop now. Not when I'm this close. Okay, so there's a lot to unpack here. First of all, let's discuss that top section. Threads, impressions, realities woven from memory, and yet not quite right. Each one feels designed but distorted. This sounds like the writer is describing Atlas maps. The idea of all of these different realities being accessible, but there is something wrong. They feel distorted in some way. So this immediately made me think of a few things. Firstly, we could be seeing some kind of new Atlas endgame system, something that is very familiar yet distinctly different in some way. That is what I feel is being described here. Almost like the Atlas you know, and yet there's something a bit off about it. However, something else that this made me think of immediately was Scourge League. Of course, with the alternate reality world that you could jump in and out of. Imagine that or something similar to that, but you can't jump in and out of it. It's just always in the alternate realm, and in that realm, there's some kind of disturbance or distortion going on. But there is one other thing that this made me think of. Even though I don't have any first-hand experience of playing Synthesis League, as I hadn't started playing PoE at that time, from all I've heard and seen of Synthesis League, these few lines here definitely sound like they could be describing some synthesis elements. So possibly a Synthesis 2.0 type league, and to be honest, after considering all of these options, I think I'm leaning more towards Synthesis more than the others. Now, the distortion that's being described here is likely coming from the Originator, and in this teaser we actually get confirmation that the Originator is indeed a being, not an object, with this line right here. Is this how the Originator hides their work? Now this line ties in with the above that we just talked about, as the writer of this journal is theory crafting that the Originator is causing this distortion, or this disturbance, to hide whatever it is they're doing. And if that's the case, that's a bit ominous for the identity of this Originator character. If they're trying to hide their work may be a bit nefarious, which would indicate them as the new enemy of the Atlas rather than an ally, so perhaps this does end up being a new boss. Or there's another scenario there where the writer of this journal wants to learn the Originator's secrets for their own agenda, whatever that may be, and we'll discuss who this might be in just a moment. But before that, I want to talk about this line, and how it ties into the next line and how that may have a bit of a double meaning. Is this how the Originator hides their work, or is it coming undone? This line right here, is it coming undone? Is this referring to the Originator going insane, or is it referring to the Atlas changing in some way? The writer is theory crafting that the Originator is causing the distortion, but this line may be referring to the Atlas itself coming undone, and perhaps the Originator is benefiting from that in some way. Now the last two lines, whatever the reason, I won't stop now, not when I'm this close. Now these lines here give me the impression that the writer is potentially a bit reckless, almost suggesting that they will do whatever it takes to get what they want. But there's also the case there where whatever is going on with the Atlas and the Originator is particularly dangerous and must be stopped no matter the cost. Alright, so that's the writing in this teaser, but there's more going on here too. Of course, up here we've got red petals. This is the most obvious Zana reference so far. Zana always had this kind of aura of red petals surrounding her, so this is definitely indicating her return for 3.26. However, in my last video I discussed how I thought that the first journal entry didn't really add up for Zana being the writer of that entry, and with this entry having the red petals in short, this makes me wonder, is Zana the one writing these journals, or has Zana found these journals and she's now pursuing someone else who's in search of the Originator? That's unclear right now, and this could still be Valdo's journals from a long time ago that Zana is now reading. If this is Valdo, or the Shaper's journal, I wonder how this will tie into his story with the Elder, and also when exactly these entries were written, and why it has only now suddenly become of importance to Zana, outside of the possibility that she has only just found these journals and she now believes that they're her purpose to continue her father's work. There's just so many possibilities here, and on Thursday we should be getting the name reveal and the confirmed dates for 3.26's launch and the reveal livestream. And what about that name of the expansion itself? I've seen a lot of people throwing around Origin of the Atlas, and I think that's a pretty good shout if it does end up indeed being an Atlas expansion. But I'm going to go with something a bit darker. I'm going to go with Fracturing of the Atlas. Whatever it is though, we won't have to wait very long to find out. 3.26 is just around the corner. Long have we waited, and now, after almost a year, we're going to be finally getting a new PoE1 patch. That's it for this one, guys. Thank you for watching, and as always, stay tuned and stay safe.